It's a really fascinating area, and it's something I look forward to sharing with you over the next hour. Now, I've structured this webinar in 4 parts. The first part will be a brief introduction. The second will be to cover restraint. The third part will be on confiscation, and the fourth will be civil forfeiture. So restraint, confiscation, and civil forfeiture being the key areas that I'd like to give you a whistle-stop tour of. They're all tools for the authorities when dealing with the proceeds of crime, and I'll cover them briefly so that by the end of this webinar, you should understand what they mean and a little bit about how they work in practice. And as I did for restraint, I'm going to start off with just a little interlude where I ask, what is confiscation? It might sound obvious, but what it really means is it's an order of the Crown Court again, so we're still in the Crown Court, requiring a defendant to pay the recoverable amount. I will explain what the recoverable amount is. But starting with that, the important point to note there is that it's a defendant to pay the recoverable amount. So confiscation is imposed post-conviction. You need to have a convicted defendant. And it's an order to pay a sum. In principle, what that means is it's about handing over the proceeds of their criminality. That's the purpose of confiscation. The fact that someone shouldn't be able to benefit from their crime and sit on the funds, sit on the proceeds. It's a deterrent, and it removes funds from circulation within the criminal community. And what are the sanctions for non-compliance? Well, bizarrely, perhaps, enforcement of confiscation orders, which again are made in the Crown Court, enforcement happens in the Magistrates' Court. The Magistrates' Court is in charge of making sure that confiscation orders are being paid. They will call people in for enforcement hearings to find out what's going on, why a payment's not being made. They'll have means hearings to find out what's going on, what people are earning, and to come up with payment plans. But ultimately, if someone fails to pay, they breach the terms of the order, and they fail to pay within the requisite time, then there is a default sentence, as I mentioned before, and they will have to go to prison. And once they've served that, they can't serve it again, but it is a deterrent.